Labadiena! So this is the footage from winter holidays. I filmed it, but I procrastinated to stick it together and make the voiceover. So during these slower times, I thought it's a great opportunity to finish this. So I had this room separated with a brick wall in my workshop, and I thought it's a great place where I could make my welding room, because I tried to weld a few projects and it was disaster. There was a lot of smoke and grinding dust in the workshop, and it just was awful. So this project was a must for me. So I started this by covering the deck. So this room would be enclosed, and I could make some dust extraction or ventilation for soot removal. And I suppose this is pretty much self-explanatory. All I want to say that that 2x2 you are seeing here, I made from both sides of the wall, just because I'm planning to put a deck in between these two walls. You get the idea, I suppose. I just thinking to extend this decking and make some extra storage room. And these panels I bought in one company warehouse cleanup sale, or whatever you call it. They were just selling all those unused plates and panels. So I got those very cheaply for €1 a piece, so I was really glad. The next problem I was having is that this portion of the workshop was without any electricity. So I thought it's now or never. So I ran a 3-phase wire to the welding room and also to the upper portion where my storage is gonna be. I may even make some working space there if I want to. So I installed this junction box just because I bought those 3-phase wires from the old workshop, and they were at a certain length, so I had to make some joints. So junction box is the perfect solution, I suppose, the best solution. As you can see, I installed a socket so I can use my my tools here. So I got most of the wiring done, and I switched to the pipe installation for the upcoming ventilation. So I thought it's a great idea to cover it with a fine mesh, so no unwanted particles will fly on the roof and to the city eventually. So just a safety feature. And in this building there was some sort of I'm not sure what kind of factory, but there was these gigantic pipes all over the building, so they were demolishing these, and there was a great pile outside, so I borrowed a few, but eventually I brought back most of it because I didn't use it. I took only two short sections. I bought this 3-phase fan last summer when it was getting really hot in the workshop, and I thought to install it somewhere to make some air circulation, but I didn't. And now it was the perfect time to put it into use. So, but my idea was that this will be used only in the summer, because it moves a lot of air, and I don't want to lose any heat from the workshop during the winter time. So I will eventually, you will see, I will make another smaller fan for the welding soot to extract, and this giant one will be used only in the summertime. Anyhow, along this 3-phase wire I ran a smaller 1-phase tiny wire from the relay box I made for the dust extractor. I will put a link to that project. So that relay had another port, so I thought it's a great opportunity to use that to turn the fan on and off. So I would have not only my dust extractor, but this fan on remote as well. So I did that. It worked. It worked greatly. And here I'm preparing an adapter for that smaller extractor I was talking about. This I will use in the winter time. It's way quieter and it moves enough air for the welding room. But my idea to use the same pipe for 2 fans had some flaws, because if I would have put that smaller fan on the side, through the side of that gigantic pipe, there was a great chance that all the smoke wouldn't go up on the roof. It would just go back into the welding room, because it's just the less resistant path. If there will be a great wind, which is quite common on the high roofs, so it probably would have blown all my sucked out air back to my workshop. I'm not sure if I explained it clearly enough, but anyhow, I decided to make a smaller pipe inside that gigantic pipe just for this smaller fan, so they wouldn't interfere each other and could be used separately or simultaneously. So here you can see just metal origami, nothing fancy or special. And I'm using those round cutoffs from the adapter I made for 3-phase fan, which went in between the giant pipes. And I also used a ton of silicone in all the seams, weld seams, or in between the rivets and the parts. So everywhere I could use a silicone I did, because I didn't want any dust or any paint vapor coming back to the workshop. Do it correctly once and you can forget about it. That's what was going through my mind at the moment, and it's rather a good motto, I would say. Anyhow, it's coming clear how the smaller pipe gonna fit into this giant one. And at this point I looked at it and it looked more like some furnace or incinerator. And one of my colleagues came by to say hi, and he was joking if I have switched my my work profile. Okay, let's get back to the project. So I had to secure that inner pipe firmly enough, so I found this round pipe bracket and welded 3 pieces of scrap metal, and this worked really well. So this part out of the way, I had to make some sort of roof to cover both pipes. So I bought a couple of sheets of half mil zinc plated sheet metal and one more origami project. So I tried to find some proper plan how to make a conical shape drawing on the flat surface, but I just was too tired to think about it, and I just ran with the simplest method I could think of. It was just by trial and error. Once I got one sheet correct, I figured how much will I need and just duplicated it. And here I'm using just the same technique as before to make this fixture. And I also had this already factory made cover for this smaller pipe. Now I just had to cover the lower section. And as you can see, I made a tab on each of these slices. So that was precisely for the to drive a rivet into this smaller pipe. And once I checked all the overlapping in between those sheets, I just put some silicone in between and installed some rivets. And before starting this roof project, I was a bit worried how well will I be able to make it, but this approach seemed to work wonderfully, flawlessly, I would say. It went really fast and efficient. I barely had any sheet metal leftovers. That was rather unexpected. Okay, this cage I'm welding now is just to prevent any poor birds from falling into the pipe. So I bought some chicken wire and just it's not much to explain. It's super simple. I'm not sure if this procedure was necessary. I just sprayed some metal primer just to hopefully extend the life of that cage. And they had this old covered opening in the ceiling, so that was the only reason why I decided I can make ventilation, because I'm renting this property and I'm not allowed to drill holes in the roof. Anyhow, I was alone, and during that time nobody was in the building, so I had to manage this lift by myself. So I thought through this procedure beforehand. I summoned my inner beast, and it went okay. So I secured this unit in the halfway with some screws. Went upstairs and pulled it all the way up. From that point, it was rather easy. Here you can see me on the roof. So previously there was some sort of ventilation, as you can see. So, and it was covered with some roof tar and some, I'm not sure, some sort of plate, wooden plate. So it was rather easy to open it up. I just used a jigsaw. And I prepared a few straps, went on the roof and pulled it through. Actually, I haven't thought of this procedure very well, so I was struggling for like 10 or 15 minutes, but I figured it out. I secured those straps on the roof structure, and now it was just a matter of fusing these two together. So this was just after Christmas, I think, and I was really rushing through the day because the sun was setting really early. So, and as you can see, I have peed my pants during this pull. Now I'm just kidding. There was some ice on the roof, and I was sitting on the ground while I was pulling it up. So it was rather cold outside, so I was rushing to cover all the gaps in between the pipe, just to save some warmth in the workshop. And of course, I will be losing quite some heat through the metal pipe itself, but it's better than nothing. I couldn't do anything more at the time. And here you can see how fast the darkness comes. It's like in a matter of 10 minutes it was pitch black. But I managed to put the cap on and I was golden. I got back to the workshop and I had nowhere to rush. And I could turn the heater back on and work in my regular pace. And there was quite some work left inside. So first of all, I sealed all the gaps in between the pipes and the decking, and I made an opening for this smaller fume extractor. And as you can see, I used this 90 degrees elbow, which is not ideal for this type of projects, but I just had a very confined space over there, and it was just cheaper, and I figured it's good enough for me. So here you can see how those pipes looking inside of the welding room. But yet there was quite some electrical work ahead. I haven't filmed all the electrical light installation and socket installation because I don't think that's interesting enough content. Plus I'm no electrician, so I can do it for myself, but I don't want to teach anything. So, and as you can see, I also ran a 3-phase wire on the opposite side of this brick wall to power my shaper and my smaller table saw. And I really can't explain why I decided to move it to that spot, because it was super inconvenient and I had to move it back. Anyhow, let's jump 3 months into the future, to this day. This is how it looks now. Already using the top section as a storage, and sorry for the trash by the doors. Usually I'm a messy person, and this is the welding room. I need a lot of storage and work areas, work tables, but at least I'm at the good point to start making those. And here's the smaller fume extractor. It's not that powerful, but it's plenty for the welding procedure. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.